On the left, this is for our next attractions in 2026. It's the Fast and Furious roller coaster that we call the Hollywood Drift. Okay, this here's a timeline of pictures of favorite movies. These are in chronological order with our oldest starting in 1914, going all the way down to 2023. So keep an eye out for this because we are here for March our official open day when because he wanted to share the magic of movie making with the public. So he invited them to come on sound movies being made. They were able to walk from set to set, but with the invention of sound and the need for quiet on the set, the original walking tour ended. And then in the 1960s, this idea of reviving the studio tour returned from the Great Line restaurants to the stop at our gates. On July 15, 1964, our official opening day was when the first of our red and white candy-striped Glamour trams took 67 passengers on a 2-hour driving tour of our lot and the world-famous studio tour with we started with only 2 reporters, 2 guides, and a train on Henderson Boulevard. From there, we have expanded into one-of-a-kind Hollywood elements like the Burning House and the Rock Slide that are around this area of our studio lot. And you want to know part of our story too, as we take it into our back lot, show you the magic of movie making, and embark on our next 60 years. So welcome, friends. And we are heading into our front lot that houses a majority of our 36 sound stages. So sound stages, this is where filmmakers do about 80 to 90% of their filming because they offer a completely controlled environment. Soundstage 12 is over here on the left-hand side. This is one of the oldest and largest sound stages. It was built in 1928 for the movie Broadway. It was built at 30,000 square feet, making it the largest here on our lot because of its size and the home to some pretty major productions. Frankenstein's Laboratory, Dracula's Castle, Scarface's Mansion, it was all filmed inside a single stage. Super Nintendo World, that is right next door, right side behind these walls. And over here, this is our movie studio. These sound stages that are here on the left, they have a home to classics like the Monsters that are filmed inside here, Alex Psycho, and more recently, HBO Max. Superstore is filmed inside of these sound stages. They built the entire Cloud9 Superstore inside of these sound stages. HBO Max, it is an Emmy Award-winning show, and it also just got nominated for a bunch of Emmys for this upcoming year. And that letter is filmed inside of these sound stages. They just released season 3 on Peacock. Just dropped on August 15th. The stars of that, Bonnie Banks and Alan Charlton, they're going to tell you a little bit more about sound stages and how filmmakers utilize them.
Leaving the theme park behind and entering the front lot where real Hollywood magic is made. How? Well, inside the sound stages that surrounds us, any kind of environment is moving. For the past 60 years, studio tour visitors have driven right by these buildings, and inside these walls, the sets for your favorites. The Palatial Mansion in Bel Air. When we filmed Bel Air, we love coming out of the sound stages and seeing the trams filled with excited guests as they drive by. So, keep an eye out. You never know who or what you'll see on the studio tour.
Bonnie Banks is a huge fan of the studio tour. Whenever he is filming over here in our lot, he loves to come up and say hello to our studio tour guests. It's happened before on one of my tours, so it can happen again. Always keep your cameras out. You never know what kind of surprises you're going to see. This is the construction I was talking about over here on the right for Halloween Horror Nights. So this is going to be venues that we're going to have over here, one of our front lot sound stages. And this takes us over these following pages here on the right. These have been home to a lot of television shows. There's a lot of television history that's over here for shows like The Jeffersons, One Day at a Time, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Who's the Boss, just to name a few. And more recently, a show called Based on a True Story that is on Peacock. Season 1 is streaming right now. They're filming Season 2 in sound stages 16 and 17. The star of that is Kaylee Cuoco. She was in The Big Bang Theory. She played Penny, and now she's working on our next comedy show called Based on a True Story. They call it Boats for short. And in front of these sound stages, there is a queue. It's a permanent queue because a lot of these shows have live television audiences, and so those have stayed over there to kind of commemorate their history. Soundstage 19, that's over here on the right, they did the interior scenes for The Good Place inside there. And they also did some scenes from Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer is our 11th Academy Award-winning award-winning film for Best Picture. And they did the Oval Office scenes inside of Soundstage 19. And that brings us into our production bungalows that are here on the left-hand side. Edith Head's office actually used to be the very first bungalow. Edith Head is an Academy Award-winning costume designer. She won 8 Academy Awards for her work. She actually even designed the very first outfits that the studio tour guides wore in 1964. So these bungalows, this is typically where a lot of important production meetings happen. You have to have meetings before we even have our cast and crew assembled inside the sound stages I just showed you, talking about scripting, casting, and budgeting. And those important meetings happen inside of these bungalows. We have some pretty high-profile production offices in here. Kevin Williamson, the producer of Scream, he's inside of here. And I'm just going to point out all the way to the left where that wicket bubble is, because that is Mark Platt's office. Mark Platt, he brought us La La Land, Dear Evan Hansen, and he is about to bring us Wicked, the movie musical. It's coming out this Thanksgiving. It's going to be a 2-part movie musical. Building 5195 there on the left, that used to be the office to the legend Alfred Hitchcock. Alfred Hitchcock, although he is decorated as one of the best directors, he never won the Academy Award for any of his work, but still really recognized and very respected director. Over here on the left, these are some of our newer sound stages. Lopez vs. Lopez films in Soundstage 25, starring George Lopez and Maya Lopez. So they're a real father and daughter that filmed inside of that soundstage. And St. Denis Medical is filming inside of Soundstage 26. St. Denis Medical comedy series is going to be coming out this November. It's starring David Allen Greer and Wendy McCovey, underfunded Oregon Hospital. And that brings us over into our backlot.
We're about to cross the imaginary boundary onto the back lot, where we have exterior sets for many outdoor scenes. Over the last 60 years, studio tour guests have seen these locations turned into big cities, quiet suburbs, even that guy's hometown, and that guy, for countless movies and TV shows. This is Universal's Metro Sets.
Yeah, our Metropolitan sets take up 4 acres of our studio lot. St. Denis Medical also films over here with these exterior scenes. This hospital setting, this is where they film St. Denis Medical. And this is our Central Park, which really doesn't look like a full Central Park, not nearly as big. But with clever camera angles, this is all that you need to make this any park anywhere in the world. Our Brownstone Street, that is seen just right over here on the right. Brownstone Street has been home to movies like Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, starring Macaulay Culkin, and Changeling, starring Angelina Jolie. Oh, and The Sting, starring Robert Redford, which is one of our Academy Award-winning films, filmed over here. And that brings us over to, we're on right now the actual road that Marty McFly took his time machine to the past, the present, and the future. Welcome, friends, to our Courthouse Square.
Welcome to the Courthouse Square. These sets were used to create Hill Valley in the Back to the Future films.
And they represented multiple time periods, 1985, 1955, and the far, far distant future. This tag,
A lot of fun making those films here on the lot. I wonder what it'd be like to go back to those days. If only we had a time machine.
Everybody, do you think we can get this tram up to 88 miles per hour?
You in the future.
So it's Leah Thompson, star of the Bachelor. Represented 3 different also was wearing and also To Kill a Mockingbird, starring Gregory Peck. The fun thing with our back lot is you turn the corner and you're in an entirely new environment. And that takes us to our New York Street. New York Street is one of our longest and continuous sets. Both ends of our New York Street are curved, and that's on purpose. That way when the camera is on it, it appears as if the street goes what you just saw in every one of the corner. Now our New York Street is, these buildings here stand 3 feet tall. And if you think a little bit taller than that, it's because they use an optical illusion that is called forced perspective. So the higher up these buildings go, the smaller the windows get, making them appear taller than they actually are. This was 1948 in Captain America, the first Avenger. And this building that's here on the right, this really wouldn't fit in the 1948 environment. Well, when they were filming Captain America, they actually put a green screen over that. And if you were to go back and watch that film, it looks like it's blocked off, like they're doing construction over there, because they... theater that's here on the left, the green trim, that was where Peter Parker tried to go see Mary Jane and the importance of being earnest, and then he was late. Whoopsies. That happened right over there. American Ninja Warrior, filmed over here in our New York State, actually set up an entire obstacle course so they start filming in the evening time and it goes until the morning. So not only are these athletes in peak physical condition, to achieve going all night like that. We are heading over into a more exotic part of our studio tour. I always like to point out the burning, the collapsing bridge of a runaway train that are seen over here on the left, or excuse me, on the right. And these were a part of the studio tour. The train would actually cross the collapsing bridge. The beams would snap and it would seem like the bridge was collapsing along with it. The collapsing train would come hurtling towards the tram and then come to a stop at the last minute. A word of caution as we are about to enter Skull Island where adventure awaits. Here's Peter Jackson to tell us a little bit.
It's the original King Kong that I saw that movie on TV when I was about 8 or 9 years old.
The gates have opened, friends. Welcome to Skull Island. Unexpected hero. And if you got any dinosaurs spit on you, it's okay. It's just Los Angeles tap water. It's completely harmless. So that attraction was put together by Peter Jackson, who directed the most recent King Kong film, and it's been over at Weta FX. Weta FX is formerly Weta Digital. Their relationship with Universal goes all the way back to Xena the Warrior Princess. So they are really skilled and knowledgeable with their computer-generated imagery and their animation. They've won 7 Academy Awards. They've worked on movies like Avatar, Avatar: The Way of Water, the Lord of the Rings trilogy series.
The audience is in the middle of the environment. They're looking at
all directions. There's creatures coming in from King Kong from this side and T-Rexes from the other side. We always know what this way to bring the shop that we're working on. Here you have to have people looking in all directions. Also, one of the things about this ride, unlike the movies that we used to working on, there's no cuts. Because it's one blank shot. This tram is driving along through Skull Island is where the camp is from. This ring represents where the screen is 10 meters away. We really created about 50 minutes of our feature film. That amount of visual information, that number of pixels, and presenting them to the audience, it's a hell of a ride.
And we are back over in our Metropolitan sets, and we've also had some music videos that have been filmed over here. Taylor Swift did her Wildest Dreams music video, Pink did her Walk Me Home music video, Jisoo did her Flower music video where she had her people that were dancing right on the streets. That happened right over here in our Metropolitan sets. This area here on the left, this is called London Square. They actually just used this for a classic Spy starring Ted Danson. Michael Schur and Ted Danson are working together again to bring a comedy series to life. And yeah, that's the next thing they're working on. Ted Danson and Michael Schur, they work together doing the Good Ones set. Let's keep the comedy going. And King Kong, it was based off of the the original came out in 1935, produced by RKO. Monsters were a really big deal in the 1930s, and we are known as the home of the monster movie classic. So check out here on the right, this is our Monster Bureau. It was created by a very talented artist named Tristan Eaton, who brought these monsters to life with the inspiration from the original posters and props and set pieces, created entirely out of spray paint. And we have the Universal Dark Universe that's coming out next year in Orlando, so that should be pretty cool to check out. It's going to be a universe dedicated entirely to our monsters. Over here on the left, this is where they filmed The Voice. These sound stages are here, 30 and 31. So I mentioned that we have some returning judges. We have Sabrina McIntyre, Gwen Stefani, but also Michael Bublé and Snoop Dogg are joining the concert back. In front of that, there's a body of water. This body of water is called the Hollywood Ocean. The Hollywood Ocean was home to my personal favorite monster movie, the creature from the Black Lagoon, on the inside there. And the creature from the Black Lagoon came out in 1954. And it came out in 3D because there was really big competition for film in the mid-50s, and that was television. People were it was becoming a regular thing for people to have television. So filmmakers were trying to figure out how do we get audiences from their living rooms inside the theater. And 3D was one way that they really wanted to accomplish that. The makeup for the creature, it was designed by one of the very first women to work in special effects makeup. Her name is Melissa Patrick. And Melissa Patrick also was one of the very first animators for Disney. She designed Fantasia. Excuse me, she designed it, she animated it. So, I mentioned before that we are known as the birthplace of the monster movie, and we are about to go to the home of our monster movie classics that filmed over inside here in our Little Europe sets. So Little Europe has been home to movies like Frankenstein, starring Boris Karloff, Dracula, starring Bela Lugosi, The Wolfman, The Invisible Man. Watch out! You never know where the Invisible Man might be lurking. We also did a really fun promo for the Olympics in our Little Europe sets. With Sabrina Carpenter. They made it look like that she was in a Parisian cafe, and she was actually right over here in our Little Europe sets. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, and there also were some other big movie stars back over here filming some other commercials. Peter Pascal was just back over there filming a commercial. This building that's over here on the left with the blue double doors, this was a yogurt shop in a very popular TV show that took it to the afterlife.
You, Eleanor Shellstrom, are dead.
Cool.
This location, the afterlife, I have never ever seen this. You're in the good place.
I'm not supposed to be here. I can't risk going to the bad place.
Maybe it's not all that bad.
Yeah, how can I help you?
What is the bad place like?
Well, it doesn't sound awesome.
Place. That film for 4 seasons that are now streaming on Netflix. Because of the fantastical feel that our little New York sets off, like movies like Roger and Hammerstein's Cinderella. People will bring this film Diaries 2 of Loyal Engagement. Friends, that takes us to the halfway mark of our studio tour. Just a quick reminder, the studio is private property. So please remain seated, and if you need any assistance, please reach up and grab that red E-cord that runs along the center of the tram, and that will get my attention. Remain seated, and I'll be by to help you when it's safe to do so. Oh, this is cool. We just got granted access to come check out one of our sound stages. This is Soundstage 50. They are filming inside here today, but we just want to go ahead and come check it out. And this is one of our only dual-level sound stages. So down over here, this is a San Francisco subway station, but right above our heads is a fully dressed San Francisco street. Any moment now, Universal was really known for their disaster films in the 1970s. And this attraction came out in 1989, making this attraction 35 years old. Earthquake recently did just undergo a little we had it closed for almost a year, just to update a lot of the film equipment that you saw there and the subway station, just to bring it all up to the 21st century. And you all did it! You survived! Woohoo! We just opened up this past spring, so this is still our first season with that brand new attraction. Yeah, altogether, such grace. I'm sure that was really stressful though. So we think let's change it up. Let's do something a bit more relaxing, right? We've already been through a lot. The earthquake. What next? Well, the beach. That's what's next. Over here on the left. Ignore that sign. That says beach closed. Because we just got word from Mayor Vaughn that Amity Island is open. And he would like to welcome you to where it always feels like the 4th of July. Aw, welcome, friends. Yeah, I know. There was a terrorizing man-eating shark over here, but we caught him! See, there he is! Nothing to worry about. Let's just enjoy the gentle breeze, some nice waves, and a shark fin. Okay, I guess he's still out there. Oh no, but so is George! George is our police guy, it's his first time. No, George, no! You can do it! There's just a man-eating shark lurking in these waters, so let's remain seated and hang out here behind these gas tanks. shark out there. I don't want anybody to get bit. But there was Bruce, our mechanical shark. Jumped up and said hi to everybody. What a nice good morning surprise. So Bruce was looking pretty spry. He was working pretty well. I can't say that, but that mechanical shark, which was also named Bruce, was after Steven Spielberg's attorney, it corroded and sank to the bottom of the very first day of the movie. It ended up delaying the release of Jaws. It was set to come out in the winter of 1974. It was supposed to come out right after the earthquake, but because of all the shark problems, it ended up becoming delayed, and it came out in the summer of 1975, but they really used the summertime to their advantage with their advertising for Jaws, and it ended up creating the summer blockbuster that we all know and love today. Jaws has been with us since 1976. It's a studio tour classic. We are heading into another studio tour classic. It's been with us since the late 60s. The co-host of the Today Show and weather anchor Al Roker is going to tell you a little bit more.
Time for my favorite part of the tour, weather. When it comes to film and TV, it is truly a special effect. In fact, to demonstrate how weather effects are created, we debuted our first major effect on the studio tour way back in 1968.
And we have some rain being created by a very high-tech Hollywood device called start and stop it whatever they need to get. Scary, we still love it. Who was, well, the stunt double that was taken in the Flash Red. And that brings us over into our Western sets. So our Western sets, in the heyday of the old Western, the 50s and 60s, these babies saw a lot of action. They were home to productions like My Little Chimney, Destiny Rides Again, Winchester 73, more recently, films like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood utilizing these Western sets. And Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Leonardo DiCaprio, he plays an actor named Rick Dalton. And Rick Dalton would depart in a television show called Lancer, which was a real Western show that they had in the 60s. And this was what they chose for the setting of that film. They were actually here for a couple of weeks and had people that were in 1960s attire, that was when the film took place, and also Western attire too. Saving Mr. Banks, starring Colin Farrell, specifically the flashback scenes. They made this in 1906 Australia for that. And if we were filmmakers and we wanted to film a Western, we would have to have the help of a few different departments, right, to help us complete this look and make it look like the Old West. We would have to have costume designers that were going to be putting our actors into kind of 1800s Western attire. We would have to have construction crews and painters that would have to really be filling these out, making some new signage, and we would have to have our production department that would fill out all these details, like the windows, make it look like there are people over here. We would have to have horses, carriages. Most importantly, we would have to have the dirt, right? The asphalt that we have on the ground wouldn't really work for a Western show, but that would be up to production to bring in some dirt and then fill it in, and then also take it away when we're all done. Because that is also the responsibility of the production crew, is to do what we call strike the set. As soon as they are all done, taking everything away and then resetting it to make it look like the way it was before they got there. This is the other side of our Western sets, our 6 points. This is called Denver Street. This house is some of the oldest sets that are over here on our property. And this is actually where the original walking tours were when Carl Laemmle opened up the gates to his studio in 1915. So over 100 years ago, they actually had pictures that were set up right over here. And people were able to come and watch some of the movies being made. They were able to cheer for the good guys, boo for the bad guys. And they were able to do that because there was no sound. Everything was silent. So they were actually able to film multiple movies at once. And the very first year that our studio was open, we made 200 westerns. Because they were filming so many at once. We're going to see another view of our Anthony Island. Steven Spielberg, he's going to tell you about it.
The Jaws ride was almost the inevitable result of the size of the box office when Jaws first opened in June of 1975. And that was really the first time I ever got involved in the creation of a ride. It was a great honor to be invited into a greater circle of tremendous designers trying to figure out how to replicate what the movie had done to audiences in a real way by building a physical shark that would come out of the water and terrify tourists as they were sitting in the traffic. And the most amazing thing about the Jaws ride is it is exactly as it was from the time it was first placed on the Universal lot. There have been tweaks, of course, over the years, but it is essentially what the designers and myself all envisioned and created. I'm done bashing the shark. Thank you, Jaws, for everything you've done for me. But I will say, consistently, the shark did work much better on the tour than it did in the Atlantic Ocean in 1974.
And there are some residential houses that are over here that are mostly facades. Facades is a French word meaning front and sides of, or excuse me, false front. So it's only the front and the sides of the buildings that we're seeing. And that was where they did, they had Wisteria Lane. So that was on Colonial Street where we have a lot of residential streets. It was also where they filmed Casper. And Candy Cane Lane, that is on Amazon Prime right now, starring Eddie Murphy. This road that we're on right now, this is Wilderness Road. It is also Steven Spielberg Drive, one of the longest roads that's over here on our property, because we've had a long relationship with Steven Spielberg. Here he is, Clayton.
My entire career began with my relationship with Universal Studios just as a high school kid on a tour bus. Remember, in those days, there weren't trams, there were buses called the Gray Line Tour Bus. And I was so excited and thrilled to be on the lot. It was my first time ever on a movie studio lot. And during a bathroom break, I hid in the bathroom, and when everybody left to get back on the bus, I waited another 15 minutes until I'm sure the bus left, and then I had the entire lot to myself that day. And in those days, movie lots were so crowded because all movies were made on film lots. Today they're made all over the world, on locations, but most of it was focused in those days, in the 60s, on the film lots. So nobody noticed me when I was going around from soundstage to soundstage, and I really felt, in my own young way, I owned the lot and had the most amazing day of my life.
And check it out, these are some of our picture cars that are over here on the left. So picture cars can do it. Picture cars are just any vehicle that appears in a movie or a television show, commercial, what have you. We have some of our Fast and Furious cars. We have Bumblebee from the Transformers movies. And picture cars can do a lot for a film. They can take the world with details like license plates. And if anybody is looking for a place to stay for your visit over here to Los Angeles, I know just the place. This is our Bates Motel, and right above, there is the owner's house, the Psycho House. Oh great, they have some vacancies for us. How wonderful. So Psycho came out in 1960. And it really pushed the boundaries, specifically with its infamous shower scene that it had. Alfred Hitchcock, though, when he got the notes from the census to take out that shower scene, he actually didn't edit anything. And then a couple weeks later, he just sent it back to the census, and they said, "Oh, thank you so much for changing out everything that you saw there." and then they approved it. Janet Leigh, the star of that film, her daughter would also go on to become a screen queen. Jamie Lee Curtis for the Halloween movies. And from one iconic set right into the next, this is on one of the world's set, director Steven Spielberg.
The surrounding areas and all aircraft have been grounded.
Because it's just something you don't see.
Is it crickets? Close your eyes. Close.
Bobby, get in. Get in.
So along with this amazing practical set that you see here, Steven Spielberg did add 500 special effect shots on top of this. Really creating that jarring scene in War of the Worlds. We are now at the 15-minute mark. We're about 15 minutes away from our theme park at the end of our studio tour. Just a quick reminder to please remain seated on the duration of the tour. And if you need any assistance at all, that red e-cord is there. Look, I'll help you in a second to do so, if you need any assistance. We are actually about to head into the, these are the actual sets from Jordan Peele's latest sci-fi thriller, Nope. Welcome, friends, to Jupiter's Claim.
Magic only happens when a team of collaborators often work together to predict the possible and bring it to life. This is Jupiter's Claim. Nostalgic, over there, look into the wicked and have your picture taken just like the kids in Edel. Hopeless. No. But a little further down, you can see the brand new Car Lasso experience. Built to showcase an unbelievable live show. It's not looking so live anymore. Welcome to the world of no.
Lost power there for a second. I really don't know why, but you know, it's time for us to get out. Those are the actual sets from the sci-fi thriller Nope that was filmed in Agua Dulce, a deserty part of the Southern California area, and they brought it over here piece by piece. So it was kind of cool. We all just were kind of right in the middle of that movie, and that's what we're about to do here for our grand finale of the studio tour. Kind of put you right in the middle of some fun Hollywood action. I just got word that we have an undercover witness on board here with us. And Owen Shaw, international criminal. He's after us. But don't worry. Dominic Toretto and his crew. A safe inside of Sullivan's garage. I do have a point person. Let me just dial. And once the dial. Roman. Roman's son.
serious. FBI, don't move.
Bill,
That's right, party's over.
you know how long I took to iron this shirt, man? I'm not.
You're under arrest right now.
Ladies, just back up a little bit. I got it. It's lightweight. First of all, I don't work for you.
Oh, really? Well, tell me, Roman, who do you work for?
We don't work for nobody. Cop, I suggest you clear out of here, otherwise we can't guarantee your safety.
Guarantee my safety? I'm the one holding the gun.
Yeah, but mine's a whole lot bigger than yours.
Hobbs, escort this novice out.
Let's go, Cookie Puss.
You got an ugly suit on, man. It's cheap.
Somebody out there really pissed off Shaw. It's gonna get ugly fast.
Yeah, don't worry. Lucky for you, our whole family will protect you.
Are you kidding me, Roman? You didn't shut off your phone, bro?
I gotta call you back. I'm in the middle of
See what I'm talking about?
Call you back. Man, it was on vibrate.
Shaw traced us. Hobbs can't hold it forever. Letty, Roman, we're up. Driver, move that vehicle.
It's about to get real interesting. My Mona Lisa's all warmed up right next door.
Roman, grab your truck. I need you and Letty ready to roll.
Which one of you is the witness? Speak now or you all get fried!
This is our turn.
After them!
Okay, guys, it's showtime. Coming up. This thing ain't moving fast enough. Roman, Letty, hook him up.
Hit it!
Now we're moving.
The witness is mine, Letty!
How about you eat asphalt?
Don't think you're getting away! Find the pistols!
Way to go, Letty. Don't want another missile shot. Not gonna happen. Don't worry, I got this. Roman, don't shoot him. Head on the bridge. Under construction. Hit the nitrous.
We're not gonna make it!
Ride or die.
Says you're welcome to hang out with his crew anytime. That was the grand finale of our studio tour. To help bring it on home, here is Jim Fallon.
Over the past 6 decades, the studio tours have guests on an amazing event at a movie studio in a way that only Universal can. I hope that you had a great time today. And on behalf of everyone at NBC Universal, thank you for joining us to celebrate our diamond anniversary.